coming up?
It is a 365-day-a-year job. They're living animals. You can't just box them up and put them in the cabinet and bring them out next week. So it's every day, all day, or can be.
A strong bottom line for one Texas rancher begins with nutrition. Next on The American Rancher. Hello and welcome to The American Rancher. I'm Pam Minnick. On this episode, sponsored by GainSmart, we take a trip to the great state of Texas to visit rancher Kevin Hamlin. Located just outside of Big Springs, Kevin's stocker operation has been in the family for decades. The ranch has evolved over the years while staying true to their roots. And from cow-calf to stockers and wheat pasture to irrigated ground, Kevin stays busy all hours of the day.
It is a 365-day-a-year job. They're living animals. You can't just box them up and put them in the cabinet and bring them out next week. So it's every day, all day, or can be. Kevin Hamlin, Big Spring, Texas. Place is located north of town, probably 10 to 12 miles. My family, great-grandfather settled in this area in 1900, and the majority of this has been in the family ever since. Of course, started out a cow-calf operation in the early days, and then converted to a stocker operation in the mid-1980s, I guess. And we've basically been a stocker operation ever since. Of course, growing up here, I was involved with the cow-calf operation as a child and grew up. Went to Texas Tech and received my bachelor's degree and stuck around there and got a master's degree in animal genetics and breeding. Got through with college and moved down to Eagle Pass and went to work in a feed yard down there as a cattle manager. Spent about 3 years down there, and Dad called and said, "Hey, I need a little help at home. You thinking, would you consider moving back?" And I did, moved back, and I partnered up with him on the operation here, and it's evolved or grown. Number of cattle we run, number of head we run. It's a semi-arid area, almost a desert to some extent. Average rainfall is 16 to 18 inches a year. The last 2 years have been very, very dry, minimal rain. Trying to get some stockers put together. For example, if you're trying to get cattle put together ready for wheat and it's very dry, it's either turn them out on dry grass or find a preconditioning yard or a pen to put them in. And that's a challenge we face every year sometimes, is we don't have the grass or the available grazing to background those cattle prior to wheat grazing. So that's one issue we deal with. For the last 6 to 8, 10 years, we've kind of branched out, I guess you'd say. Acquired a place in northeastern New Mexico, a grazing place, summer grazing place up there. Have a smaller place south of here, south of San Angelo. Has some cultivation on it and some irrigation, so we're able to raise some irrigated wheat down there and turn cattle out down there also. So kind of can move cattle around, diversify a little bit as far as where we send the cattle, and a lot of it's weather driven and market driven also. We've kind of developed where we buy a 4 to 4.5 weight calf. That's, sometimes we'll buy a lighter one, sometimes bigger, but I would say 80% of the cattle we buy weigh 4.5 when we first purchase them. And like we've been talking about, it's a full preconditioning, 45 to 60 days, depending on the cattle. Background, of course, vaccinations and all that stuff that goes along with it. And a majority of the cattle we purchase, I would say over 90%, are a Angus base, black baldy calf. Nutrition's very important. I mean, whether it's livestock or people or whatever, it's very important to get adequate nutrition and quality nutrition. As far as the stocker end of it, I would say, you've removed that calf from her mother at a young age, weighing 400 pounds. They've got to have a source to get that nutrition. They cannot rely on their mother anymore for milk, which was their predominant source at that point. So, provide quality grazing the best you can, but you also have to provide supplemental products also, whether it's salt or mineral or a combination of the both. So it's very important, and it helps with, of course, their maturity, their growth, and also I'll just say stage one, if you can get them started off on the right track, it helps keep them going, and they don't have those really ups and downs, just keeps them going and where they can reach their full potential. Currently we're using the stocker mineral and using that out on our grass, native pasture, and our irrigated grass also. Provide that free choice at all times. Our wheat cattle, we're using the wheat pasture mineral provided by GainSmart Wheat Pasture Mineral. Had very, very good success with that, I think. The cattle just seem to really take to it and get on it, so to speak. There's very minimal time as far as getting them acclimated to that product. They I guess the texture, the taste, whatever it is, they love it, and they really, really consume it well. Just watching the cattle, just visual appraisal of the cattle eat the product well, consistently. Cattle seem to stay full, consumption looks well as far as just grazing, and seem to do well. I think, I'm not a nutritionist by training, but I think it's something that's common sense. I mean, if you don't get all your nutrients, you're not going to perform. Cattle or people or both. I mean, you got to have your nutrients, you got to have your protein sources, your energy sources, plus all your micro minerals and small minerals that help with bodily functions. And if you don't have that, I mean, you're going to be deficient. If you're talking about cattle, 1.8 daily gain versus a 2 or 2.2. I mean, that extra gain, that's profit. Yes, you have your cost of mineral, but I think that's, if you put a pencil to it, you're more than recouping that, and plus it's improving your bottom line at the end.
Up next,
care that comes full circle. We're trying to care for the animals because they're what are making you a living, but in turn that also cares for the people that take care of them too.
see how the GainSmart Mineral Program can fit your cattle operation. Because when running stocker cattle, it's not one size fits all. Stay with us.
If you will, in the stocker industry, depending on where cattle come from, but not necessarily always that they come from the southeast or travel a great distance. Two of the biggest things that are challenges for those guys in those type businesses is, number one, keeping cattle drinking water and on feed and keeping them healthy. And so if we can keep cattle drinking, cattle will eat. And if cattle drink and eat, then their own immune system has some strength with it, so that if those cattle meet a compromise and we have to use an expensive antibiotic, the chances of that antibiotic working the first time are much increased. Of course, our company motto is the care that comes full circle. So if we can help producers through our product Amifirm, it's in all of our supplemental products that we sell, we know what it does in terms of increasing gain and absorption rate of nutrients, or intake, digestion, absorption rate. In turn, we also know that Amifirm helps with gut health. 70% of our immunity comes through our intestinal tract, whether that be a human or an animal. So it's kind of a twofold deal. So we help animals not only perform better, but also be healthier, which translates to what? Pounds. We work off of averages all the time, average price, average weights, everything's on an average. So anything that we can do to increase the reduce the number of morbidity and mortality in these cattle, and increase the overall average daily gain, or feed efficiency is another way to look at it too. Average daily gain and feed efficiency coincide, but they're really, you can look at them separately as two different mechanisms. So as we move into the markets that we're in now, with high grain prices, feed efficiency is the key word. So anytime that you can use a feed additive to improve that animal's ability to improve their feed efficiency, you're going to be ahead of the game. It's more magnified, if you will, as grain prices or feed prices go up. The ability of what those can do are more magnified in terms of return on investment to the producer. And so in our Gain Smart program, we actually have 4 minerals, if you will, that you can use. So we have our Stalker mineral, which is designed for native pasture grazing situations. Within that mineral, we also have the Gain Smart Heat, which has our heat package in it with the capsaicin product that works as a vasodilator to help expel heat from the animal's body. We know that when animals' core body temperature is reduced, that they'll go out and graze more. It helps keep them out of ponds and out from underneath the shade trees for as many hours during the day in the summertime. We have our RU 1600 mixing mineral that's designed to be used whenever you're making a TMR to feed in a grower situation. You may have big grass traps, you may actually have them in a grower yard that's designed for that. And then the other line that's in the Gain Smart line is our wheat pasture mineral. We had talked a little earlier today about what makes wheat pasture and Stalker mineral different. Basically, it's the amount of calcium that's in the wheat pasture is much, much higher. Otherwise, they're pretty similar in terms of phosphorus. We have the chelated zinc and copper in those products, which we think are extremely important in terms of addressing some health issues in terms of eyes and feet from a natural perspective. We also utilize organic iodine. We guarantee the highest level that you can put in a mineral on the tag. We feel that's very, very important from a natural perspective as well. And then if you're using those programs, we have a really nice complement to those programs to actually enhance maybe what you're doing in terms of overall health and getting cattle started at a faster rate. We have our VitaCharge line of products. We have a cattle drench that's in that line that's administered chute side at processing to get 1 ounce of Amiform directly into that animal immediately. And then we have our stress tubs that are designed for the first 14 to 21 days as those cattle are making the transition from maybe perhaps not even being away from their mama less than 10 days or even less than that, to help them have something to lick, get their saliva going, getting them interested in drinking, getting them interested in eating. We know that when cattle drink and cattle will eat, and if they do both those things, the chances of getting those animals past that first 21 days is of great benefit in terms of overall health and performance of those animals. Whether you're in a wheat pasture grazing situation or a native pasture grazing situation, or you have a starter yard, we have a product that will fit into your operation that provides Amiform in a daily feeding to your animals. So what makes our products important to you? We improve intake, digestibility, and absorption rate of nutrients. So we help cattle start faster, we get more of what you're feeding them digested through their system, and we get a greater amount of that actually absorbed into the animal's body through the intestinal lining. Again, care that comes full circle. We're trying to care for the animals because they're what are making you a living, but in turn that also cares for the people that take care of them too. We have a branded program with Superior Livestock for not only calves coming through a Stalker operation that may be sold, which is our Gain Smart badge. We also have our VitaFirm branded cattle as well. Those would be calves coming off cows that are on one of our cow minerals. So they both would qualify at the day of sale to have that badge as long as those cattle were fed 45 days prior to sale date and until they're delivered. So that's our branded program. Now, you can still use that branded program to add more dollars to your bottom line, even if you don't sell your cattle through Superior. So that's the whole goal that we have as a company.
After the break,
in our industry. So having the trust and the confidence is, I poured it out today. I ain't gonna worry about it till the bucket gets low and go fill it up again.
We'll see why Kevin trusts GainSmart mineral packs when it comes to his cattle's nutrition, and how those specifically formulated packages help him in any given situation. You're watching The American Rancher. Stay with us.
In the last 3 to 4 years, we've pretty well retained ownership of 100% of our cattle that we buy. So, we go through the background and through the grazing phase and send them on to a feed yard and finish them out. And it's worked well for us. We've had some market fluctuations, of course, but it's worked well. It gives us opportunity to see them from 400 pounds to 1350, whatever the end weight will be on those cattle. And we can kind of see, okay, this, maybe we need to back away from this a little bit or push more on this style or type of calf, maybe something like that. And it's been very beneficial. Going from stocker or say wheat grazing to the feed yard, if they've been on a good nutritional program, whether including grazing and the vitamin mineral package that you're providing, those cattle they're healthy, their digestive system is in order, and they're ready to go on feed. Versus one that's deficient in something, they've got to spend time filling those deficiencies, filling those voids before they can start performing in the feed yard and reach their full potential or maximum.
I've known Kevin for several years now, and known that he's really progressive in the cattle industry and predominantly into the stocker industry, and we became friends over the years, and I knew that Kevin would be a good fit for our program, and our program would be a good fit for him. We offer a progressive product, and he's a progressive cattleman in my mind, and that's kind of how that gelled and meant is we came up here and met and talked and showed him the benefits of it, and he agreed to try it out, and that's kind of how the relationship as far as being on the GainSmart program started for us. Our GainSmart program is geared towards stocker operations, wheat cattle operations, things of that nature, and that's predominantly what Kevin does. And being in this part of Texas and having country scattered across the state, I knew that our product could meet the challenges of different climate scenarios, rain, not rain, grass, no grass. He needs a consistent product that can cover all those gamuts for him, and I wholeheartedly believe that this product would do that for him.
Sam Silvers, ASM in our area, visited with me about it and kind of went over some of the nutrients of it and the benefits of it, possible benefits of it, and I decided, well, if we're going to try and maximize stuff, we need to get one product and stick with it and go with it and stay with it. And we've been with it going on 3 years now, and we've been very pleased with our results. Coming off a cow and trying to get their digestive system converted or adapted to grazing full time and removing that milk-rich nutrient base they have. And it's really worked well. And then going to the wheat pasture grazing, the wheat product is, of course, formulated for wheat grazing, and those cattle they'll traverse easily and go right on. Just watching the cattle, just visual appraisal of the cattle eat the product well, consistently. Cattle seem to stay full. Consumption looks well as far as just grazing, and seem to do well. And I think in today's modern world, there's enough stressors to go around that we don't need to develop a new one or have a new one in our industry. So having the trust and the confidence is, I poured it out today. I ain't gonna worry about it till the bucket gets low and go fill it up again. And stay on that program.
To learn more about the GainSmart mineral line, simply give them a call or visit gainsmart.com and find a dealer near you. And to find out more about us, visit our website, theamericanrancher.com, or connect with us on Facebook. I'm Pam Minnick. For our entire American Rancher team, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.